Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to talk about Batwoman as I pull it up on my phone, which I should have been more prepared. But as you guys may know, Ruby Rose, which I cover this news, Ruby Rose left the show. So besides recasting Kate Kane, they're going to make a new character and have this character being like season 2 Batwoman, which I have no problem with a new person being Batwoman. That's not my issue. My issue is they should have recasted Ruby Rose, Kate Kane. Finish out the story arc within like the first 3-4 episodes and introduce the new person that's going to be Batwoman. And then after this like 4 or 5 episode is over, have Ruby Rose step away, have this new person who's going to Ryan Wilder, who's played by Jaffica Leslie, stepping into the role. So we can kind of like ease into the new character a bit while saying goodbye to Kate Kane. So I do not know why the people behind Batwoman thinks it's a good idea to go, hey, we're not going to go with that route. We're just going to make another person be under the bat cowl. Like, are they even going to address Ruby Rose leaving? Like, this plan that I've been hearing that they're planning on doing is dumb on their part. Because it leaves fans who have seen the entire series, or season of season 1, present party, saying they ended things off with a major cliffhanger, how Thomas Elliot was going to pretend to be Bruce Wayne. And now you're telling me that we're not going to see that play out. Or the whole Kate Kane story, at least with Alice, play out. And I've been hearing a lot of people saying, without Kate Kane, Alice doesn't really serve much as a character to the story. And as much, like, I think Alice is a pretty decent character. A pretty decent character that works well with Kate Kane around. With Kate Kane not around, I can see those people's point. Like, what point and purpose will Alice serve to the story? I mean, she still could, and maybe I'm not thinking of any, but the whole family rivalry worked well for season 1, and it would have worked well with season 2 if they recasted the actress. And you see her, right? That's going to be the new Batwoman. The new Batwoman. The actress is going to play Batwoman. Let me say this. Ruby Rose is beautiful. This new actress is also beautiful. That's not my issue. They're saying, oh, we want representation and blah 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 blah. Talking all this Hollywood type SJW talk. Because I count like SJWs, like there are like 2 different versions of SJWs. There's a Hollywood version, SJWs, who talks about their beliefs, the beliefs of the actual SJWs, but it doesn't do anything. And the people who about those values. And then there's the actual SJWs that they actually do something about what they're preaching, besides just saying, hey, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this, but I'm not going to do anything about it. And yeah, Batwoman is like the most SJW show connected to the Arrowverse. There are bits and pieces where Supergirl was like that, and maybe Flash and Arrow and Legends, and I can't really say anything about Black Lightning, but with Flash and Arrow and Legends, it didn't really overtake the story. And I feel like season 1 of Batwoman would have done better if they focused a bit less on trying to please the SJWs and, hey, we're going to do representation, and more so on the story. Because, take Sarah Lance for example. Her character is bi. You can say she's lesbian or gay all you want, because she's dating a girl in Legends of Tomorrow. But the entire series, I'm counting her as bi, because yes, she dated Nisa Al Ghul, another girl, but the person that she dated before Nisa was Oliver. And in Legends of Tomorrow, her and I believe it's the Earth X Captain Cold did it. So taking Oliver and Nisa from Arrow, Captain Cold and Sarah Lance's girlfriend from Legends of Tomorrow, she's bi. She rolls both ways. So I do not want to hear any of you guys commenting after me saying Sarah Lance is gay when she's really bi, which she's part gay, part straight, which makes her bi. But yeah, Sarah Lance, I got attached to because they focus more on her character development than her sexuality, and I respect that. And if they wanted to do representation and push the whole black life thing, and I'm saying that as a black man, as a black person, they have at least 2 black people that they introduced in the Arrowverse. Yeah, one of them is an alien, but still, the alien is Martian Manhunter. We could easily have a show called Martian Manhunter, based off Martian Manhunter. I'm not saying that it will be exactly mind-blowing, but Martian Manhunter could be one of them, but it's not as likely as John Diggle. Because Martian Manhunter, the Arrowverse version, is still Team Supergirl, so I doubt that they would have Martian Manhunter have his own standalone show. But John Diggle is a different story. Arrow is not making any more episodes. They teased John Diggle being the Green Lantern in the series premiere of Arrow. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched it. So why don't you use, if you want representation so bad, besides really focusing on trying to make a new character from a pre-existing show that, I'm sorry, will most likely bomb because you're pretty much casting out Kate Kane at this point, which will make any of the few people that were viewing the show, the numbers of that decrease. Why don't you make a show about John Diggle being the Green Lantern? probably one of the more expensive shots of the Arrowverse shows. But like I say, you still tease John Diggle as the Green Lantern in the series finale of Arrow. And there's people like me who are a big fan of John Diggle. John Diggle, his wife is an artist. He has 2 children. Baby Sarah, who by the time Arrow ended was like what, 4, maybe 5? And JJ, who in like the present time was like 3, but that could kind of set his character up too for the potential Mia Queen Green Arrow show that I've heard may come, which is a female lead, which I would be way more open, and I am more open to having a Mia Queen Green Arrow show, which is a female lead led television series, than getting a new actress to play a different character of a superhero. And what I mean by that is that if you're going to get if Ruby Rose is going to walk out, replace the character of Kate Kane. Do not switch the characters on us. At least not right away. Give us at least 3 episodes of seeing Kate Kane being Batwoman, and then maybe in the end of the 3rd episode or towards the beginning of the 4th episode, Kate Kane handing off the torch of the Batwoman mantle to her. That would have been better. But and I'm not even hating that they're making a new character. That's going to be the new Batwoman. I'm not even hating on that they're making a new character. That's not the part that I have issues with. It's that they're so focused on trying to do representation that they're not really focusing so much on the story. Because if they were focused on the story more, then they will realize that casting a new actress to play a new character, a new version of Batwoman, is dumb. I get that some of, I mentioned Sarah Lance. Sarah Lance in this universe was played by 2 different people. Katie Lotz was not the first Sarah Lance. It was a different person at first. And we saw this version of Sarah Lance in flashback, the first one that I've seen, that I'm referring to. In season 2 of Arrow, we got that same flashback scene with Katie Lotz in it. Yes, it's not good. Katie Lotz didn't have the same mannerism as that other girl who plays Sarah, but I didn't care. The girl who played Rachel in Dark Knight didn't have the same mannerism as Katie Holmes. And I didn't care about the whole role switch. In the actor switch, I mean. Because the girl who played Rachel in The Dark Knight, in my opinion, did a great job at playing Rachel, just like Katie Holmes did a great job of playing Rachel in Batman Begins. So they would have been wiser to have recasted Kate Kane than just bringing in a new character to play Batwoman and leaving all these stories that they ended on, that left open at the end of season 1, so for us fans to wonder. And I get it, production had to stop a bit sooner than normal because of the whole coronavirus thing. I'm not pinning that on them, on the people who are behind Batwoman, but at least let us fans see Kate Kane's story arc out a bit to close within like the first 3 episodes. And I said before that I could see potential for Batwoman if they strayed away from the sexuality and trying to be showing representations as much as they were, and focus more on the story. If they focus more on the story and less on representation and sexuality, which kind of falls under representation, that show's numbers would go up. Maybe slowly, but surely it will go up. And who knows, maybe it could have outmatched Arrow. It could have had even more fans than Arrow did. But I feel like the people behind Batwoman is just dooming that show. And it's on them because, like I said, they are so fascinated in having representation that they are not thinking about story. And I'm not opposed to representation as long as that does not blind you from telling the story, like what the people of Batwoman are currently allowing themselves to do. And I could be wrong. Season 2 of, maybe I'm wrong and maybe this route will be great. I could be wrong, depending on how they execute it. But based off what I've heard, I don't think Batwoman will last after season 2. Or at least after season 3, if they already greenlit season 3. I don't see this going past season 3. But that's just me. I right now don't have really high hopes for Batwoman. Well, man. But what do you guys think about this whole thing? Like, this whole situation with Batwoman, as Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers likes to say. Let me know down in the comment section down below. Thank you for joining. Thank you for taking your time to watch this video. Please let me know what you guys think about this situation. Be kind to one another. Be careful out there. And I'll talk to you guys later. Love you all. And be kind to one another.